Alright, welcome again to another edition of Huckins on Film. I'm your host, Kyle Huckins, and we are talking about Dredd 3D. First, do the trailers. Nothing new, really. Oh, they had the Schwarzenegger's The Last Stand, which I'm on record as being excited for. Taken 2. I didn't realize it was being released as PG-13, so I'm a little less psyched to see it in the theater now. I mean, I'll see it when it comes out on DVD, because it's Liam Neeson killing like the 6 people he didn't kill in the first one. And, hey, I love the first movie. What else was there? Zero Dark 30 about the hunt for Bin Laden. I'm tempted, because I do like Catherine Bigelow. I like The Hurt Locker a lot. Near Dark's really good too, so yeah, you know what? I'm curious enough. Sorry I haven't had anything up for a while, by the way. I've been way too busy. I've been working like a madman. I actually had a review I was going to shoot the other day, but it's about the movie ATM, and I kept getting distracted. So I couldn't shoot it. Maybe it was just the mood I was in or whatever. It didn't hold my attention. Anyway, I did see the 3D trailer for The Hobbit. I'm not a Tolkien guy. I've never watched the Lord of the Rings movies. But I can't lie, I'm not interested in the story. But just as an exercise in cinematography and 3D, movie looks gorgeous. It looks fucking immaculate. So I'm actually kind of tempted to go just for the visuals alone. It really did. It's a nice looking movie. Oh, the other trailer, Sinister, from the producers of Insidious and Paranormal Activity. Okay, the guys who made Insidious and Paranormal Activity doing another screwed up possessed house movie. Yeah, I'm in. That trailer looked really, really creepy. I'm very down with Sinister. That looks like a really good flick. Also, the Silent Hill Revelation trailer again. Yeah, I still don't care. I can't be bothered. It just looks way too overly CG'd. It just doesn't look good to me. Anyway, enough of that. On to the main feature. Dredd. I fucking loved it. Holy shit. I was blown away. For those of you who've been watching this from the get-go, you guys know I've been really psyched for this ever since I saw the first trailer online. Because I thought Carl Urban... I just saw Carl Urban as Dredd. I was like, oh my god. He got it. He gets it. And he does. Oh my god. He is so very Dredd in this movie. And first of all, everyone involved with this, they understood the Dreadverse. They understood Mega City 1, they understood the judges, the whole culture around the judges. They get it. Now, they had the tone. I think I've said this before. I loved the comics. I've loved the comics for eons. I love the comics since the 80s. So, a lot of you out there, you've probably seen, A lot of people, their only real understanding of Dredd is that piece of shit Stallone made. And as a fun, campy action flick, it works. If you were a hardcore Dredd fanboy before you saw that movie, though, like me, that thing was a fucking abortion. I mean, in terms of bad comic adaptations, that there is an argument to be made that is worse than Batman and Robin. Yeah, I'm playing the Batman and Robin card. You know, it's like all the touchstones are there, but at the same time, it really just doesn't. It doesn't capture the feel. Like, even the most basic stuff is just wrong. Like, Stallone doesn't have his helmet on most of the movie. They corrected that. You never see Dredd without his helmet. There's one scene where they show him without the helmet, but he's in shadow. Because Dredd has no face. It's just the helmet. That is the face of Dredd. That is the law. Urban is fantastic as Dredd. Just every little nuance, he was perfect. They changed up Anderson a bit from the comics. As in the comics, she's... Yeah, I don't know the exact chronology, but she's every bit the veteran that Dredd is. You know, she's seen her share of shit. And she's maybe she's not Dredd's equal, but it's not a large gap between the two. In this, she's a rookie who's just about flunked out of the academy, being given one last chance because of her psychic abilities. That was one thing that shocked the hell out of me, is that they kept Anderson as psychic. I thought they were gonna go really in a very Nolan direction, with where no one has superpowers of any kind. I really didn't think Anderson was gonna have psychic abilities, and she does. So that means they're willing to get kind of weird in this universe, which makes me incredibly happy. Because in my head, I'm just like, Dark Judge's movie. And if they make a fucking Judge Death movie, especially if it's the same guys behind this one, I'm just going to warn everyone who may be sharing a theater with me, I will be shitting my pants at some point. It's going to get a little funky in there, because I'm going to crap all over myself. Like, if I'm on the big screen, all of a sudden I hear, "The crime is life, the sentence is death," I'm done. I'm just... Okay, I'm sorry I got sidetracked. But yeah, it seems like the whole Dreadverse, or at least a significant portion of it, is in play, which makes me incredibly happy. But yeah, Anderson's rookie, and they're going out to investigate a couple of murders, and they just kind of stumble into, oh shit. And basically, oh shit is they stumble upon the biggest drug lab in Mega City. They're making a drug called slow-mo, which basically slows your perceptions to 1% of what they normally are. And this is really where the 3D comes into play. Because when they show stuff from the slow-mo user's point of view, everything's really stylized. It's incredibly over CGI'd. That's where a lot of the 3D comes. But it makes sense because they're not experiencing reality the way we are. They're experiencing it very differently. So it really makes a lot of sense that they do it like that. It's... I wish it was a little more... I mean, it's more atmospheric. I wish it was a little more gimmicky. Just a whole lot of... You duck because you think shit's flying at you. They don't do that so much. They don't really use it that much. But like during the slow-mo portions, that's where you really see it. And really, it does make a lot of sense how they used it. I was very behind that. And the look of Mega City. And the judges themselves. They made tweaks. Like, first, I thought they just had the shoulder pads. I didn't realize the one, it does have an eagle on it. It's not like the full-fledged eagles you would see in the comics, because that would look kind of goofy. But like the gloves, they are green, but it's a much darker green. Because they're very bright in the comics. The boots are more black. But the overall judge look, they're very faithful to it. While at the same time, they put a spin on it that would work on screen. And the same goes for the... unfortunately, they don't really show them being used that much. But the Lawmaster bikes that they ride, they're different, but it works. But it's a very fitting way. It's still very much the same concept. And of course, they show off the bike cannon. Obviously it works very differently, but still it gets the job done. Anyway, the whole thing is they stumble upon this murder. Well, the criminals who run the block manage to get it locked down, and from there it turns into the Raid Redemption. I mean, it's just... they're trying to just get out alive with their suspect, and this whole block is just raining down bullets and shit on them. It's very action-heavy. The action really tells the story. Not a whole lot of dialogue. Really not a lot necessary, especially with a character like Dredd. But... I'm sorry, it's really hard to get into this without ruining it, and I don't want to spoil anything. Because again, you've got to see this. It's just incredibly brutal and over the top. I mean, with the Raid, it's a lot more knife fighting, a lot more just martial artistry. Dredd, it's not nearly as artistic. It's a lot more just straight up gunfights and just brutality. Like there's nothing nice about it. There's nothing artistic. It's just very straightforward. In fact, the one scene where you do see Dredd get in a fist fight, he ends it by just crushing the guy's windpipe with his lawgiver. The lawgivers were very well done in this too. They don't look like they do in the comics, but like the ones in the comics they're very gimmicky looking. These they look more like a weapon that could exist in this universe. But it does have the different kinds of ammunition. It uses a high X, it uses high incendiary. Never used any dodgems. minor nitpick. In fact, the one scene he uses the incendiary rounds is just... Oh, Joe, not cool. Again, it's just, it's one of those reminders that for a hero, Joe Dredd is just he's a fucking Terminator with a badge. But yeah, I mean, it's, like I said, it's very much, especially because this block, it's a slum block. It's a shithole among shitholes. So everything's very dark. It's very grimy. It's a very rough part of town. And like I said, though, it's just Dredd and Anderson. They're investigating one case that they just responded to, and they just happened to pick it at random. And all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. Lena Headey plays the villain, Mama. She's pretty ferocious in this. She's a very rough customer. There was one, actually, it was kind of a big plot hole at the end, or near the end. I'm thinking there was a deleted scene there. I hope it's restored in the DVD. Because I've managed to fill it in my head. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to give anything away. But yeah, there's one scene where it's just like, huh? I think there was a scene missing that probably explained why something didn't happen. But it didn't appear in the movie. Olivia Thirlby as Anderson. I thought she was good. It's just that the way they wrote Anderson is unlike her in the comic. Because, like I said, Anderson's a rookie. So her portrayal of it makes sense. I'm just so used to Anderson being the veteran who's seen just as much shit as Dredd has, that the way they wrote her just does seem kind of alien to me. But at the same time, it very much works. Let me see. What was really funny was, like, they showed a little, like, a very quick history of how Mama and her gang took over this block. And they showed, like, the other gang she was in competition with. And I really want to see a prequel of those wars. Because it looked like it could have been a really great version of the Warriors. Especially because one of the other gangs were known as the Judged. And I wish these guys had been the ones who won. Because they all had shaved heads. And they had their heads tattooed like judges' helmets. Like, you know, it was all like black or dark blue with like the red trim around. And it was sick looking. Like, I really want to see a movie with these guys in it. That's like, oh man, that's like the Baseball Furies cranked to 11. And come on, who doesn't love the Baseball Furies? If you don't, just hit yourself. Or let me know where you live and I'll come and hit you. Clearly you need to be viciously beaten. Hey, I'm a very accommodating guy. I'll work with you. If you need to be viciously beaten, let me know where you are. I'll take care of it. I live to serve. What can I say? But yeah, I mean, the gang that is there, they're still, you know, they don't really have any defining characteristics. Like the other gangs, they all kind of had their one characteristic about them, where you can tell they're members of that gang. In this one, they're just fucking heavily armed psychopaths. And Dredd and Anderson and their prisoner have to maneuver their way through them. And oof, they don't make it easy. Now, that's one thing I loved was Dredd can definitely veer into boring invincible hero territory, and they never do that with him. You know, they make it plain as day that, yeah, he's heavily armed, he's very smart, he's very resourceful, but he ain't bulletproof. Another great thing about this was, with Dredd, it's very easy to forget that he's a good detective. You know, doing what he's been doing for his whole life, the man knows a lot about detection, and they let him use his detective skills a lot more than I thought they would. Because, yeah, he's mean, vicious, and heavily armed, but they let him flex this muscle quite a bit, which I really liked. You know, the temptation to just let his gun do all the work is definitely there. And I'm just like, I don't know. Dredd's, he's not a charming fellow. He's rough. He's intimidating as hell. But he's not a dumb brute. He's a brute, but he is a smart brute. I was really happy they let him use that. And there are times where, okay, maybe his detective skills weren't enough, and Anderson's psychic abilities came into play. That was one thing I also loved with Anderson, was she knew when to use them. You know, even though she's a rookie, she is green, she's not dumb. You know, she's green, she was a rookie. She was clearly not jaded like Dredd. But she wasn't stupid. I mean, she ran into some problems, but she demonstrated that she's very resourceful. You know, she wasn't the sidekick anchor type. She was very, very helpful. You know, they bailed each other out a few times. But yes, as I saw this out, actually, I even shot a review of this already. I wasn't happy with it. I just having had a few more hours to digest it, I've come away liking this even more. I thought they really nailed it. I definitely need all of you to go out and see it, because this movie needs to make a fuck ton of money so I can get a part 2. From all the same people. Because this was fantastic. And for those of you who don't get the Raid Redemption parallels, you need to see the Raid Redemption too, because I might do one of that at some point. That is absolutely berserk action flick. That's just, oof. That is a non-stop thrill ride. Yeah, it's really... It was a very impressive flick. I really like that one a lot. Anything else I want to touch on? Like I said, I like the uniforms very much, but especially liked it in Olivia Thirlby's case. Because especially with comic book flicks, there's always the temptation to make the female outfits a lot more noticeable in certain areas. No, she's just got straight up judge's armor. She's You know, they really captured the fact that male judge, female judge, there's no difference. They're heavily armed, well trained, and will fuck you up. And you know, they resisted any attempts to play up the fact that they're always a very attractive woman. I mean, she wasn't wearing a helmet the whole time, so yeah, you could see her face. But in the comics, Anderson never wears a helmet because it interferes with her abilities. So there was a context. There was context to it. It wasn't just like, yep, yeah. We just need a way to shoehorn in the fact that she's cute. Like, no, it makes total sense. Although she is not hard to look at, that's for damn sure. But, yeah, that's all I can think of. To everyone involved in Dredd, thank you. Thank you for getting one of my all-time favorite characters right. That was a thing of beauty. Yeah, that's all I've got. This is Kyle Huckins for Huckins on Film. Fucking off.